Hello and welcome back for another edition of London Direct. Recent US data has been a little bit dodgy as the strong US dollar weighs. I've been speaking about all things US ahead of NFP Friday at Global Reach Partners. Let's concentrate on the US, particularly if we go back the last couple of days. We've had some data that ISO manufacturing and also factory orders not particularly great. Is this a reflection of something which is long-term or just a short-term blip because of the strong dollar?
I think it's one of the factors that the US is going to have to get used to. They have got a stronger dollar at the moment, and that's undoubtedly going to affect orders from them. I think what the Fed have got to appreciate, and what they've maybe not take too seriously or take too much to heart, is the figures here, and not get too hung up on the strength of the currency, because ultimately if you look at what the currency actually represents, it represents the strength of the economy as a whole. So moving forward from here, it could maybe play a part, but I think what the Fed are actually ultimately focusing on is firstly inflation and secondly growth.
The US has always taken this policy, a strong dollar is a sign of a strong economy, yes. But that's very much out of step with the rest of the world, because they wanting to devalue to boost exports. Do you think that there's going to be any change from US Treasury policy?
I generally don't think they are. I mean, they've had their massive quantitative easing program that they've literally just come away from, where it was about 25% of their GDP at one point. So moving forward, I can't see them making any drastic changes. And as I said before, I think what they've actually got to do is not get hung up on the strong dollar and what the effects are, because you are going to be seeing a divergence in policies from central banks. If you look at obviously what's happening in Europe right now, they're going to be raising rates in no time soon. In Australia have cut rates, which is a surprise this week. The US are on course to be raising interest rates, so you are going to see this divergent policy, and as a result, the strong dollar is going to be the result either way.
Yeah, but so what is going on with global policy at the moment? Because you're right, we've seen Australia cut, we also saw Canada cut not too long ago. Yeah. What's that a reflection of?
Well, Australia and Canada, they're both net exporters of commodities, and obviously because we've seen obviously led by oil, when oil dropping from $100 down to near $50 where we are right now, has obviously pulled other commodities down with it. And actually what that has ultimately done has obviously dented their GDP and their growth income because of these net exports.
So let's concentrate on NFP Friday. Yep. What sort of number are you expecting?
Well, we just had the ADP employment report that came out over lunch. That came in just below expectations. It came in at 213. Just looking at historically, the ADP employment report is never normally looked at favourably in terms of the non-farm payrolls, but I did some research on it, and actually if you look at over the last 12 months, it's only reported a figure less than the non-farm payrolls twice in those 12 months. And the normal variance has been, or the average variance should I say, has been about 27,000, so I'll be expecting a figure in or around 240,000 or north of there. The expectation is about 230, so I'm expecting a better than expected figure.
Yeah, and just to finish off, do you think there's a magic mark that the Fed's looking for in terms of the employment rate, and when it starts to think about raising rates?
I don't think there's actually a magic indicator at the moment. They've changed the language ever so slightly to suit the markets, in my opinion. They have said they are expected to see growth continue to, or sorry, not growth, so unemployment continue to improve. It's down at 5.6%, down 1.2% from this time last year. So I don't think there's actually a magic line in the sand of where they're going to actually increase interest rates. They have introduced this new phrase, which is patience, into that statement, but nobody really knows what that means. For all we know, that could still mean exactly the same thing as considerable time, but just buying the Fed more time to actually assess the situation, which is what I think they're going to be doing.
Well, thank you to Jamie. In the next episode of London Direct, we'll focus on the Bank of England, but for the moment, goodbye.